Hello, all aligned with your Dharma. Listeners, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for you all, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart for all the support and all the feedback you're giving. I appreciate you. And I have a special gift before I get started with today's guest. If any of you all are at a crossroads, whether it is regarding your identity, whether it is regarding your health, whether it is regarding relationships, career or purpose or family responsibilities, I have a simple 8 question quiz that you can take and identify for yourself where you are and also the hidden emotion that is underneath that, and then reach out to me so I can give you an experience that you can experience. It's a 10-minute miracle. That's my gift to you. So today I have this wonderful guest. In my opinion, she's a born leader. And this individual, Miss Vicki Wright Hamilton, she's a doctor. She's a transformational force in leadership, business strategy, and innovation. And she's the founder and CEO of VWH Consulting. She brings over 2 decades of experience advising Fortune 100 companies, government organization, and entrepreneurs. And her work, she says, it centers around 3 strategic pillars: digital disruptor, CEO blueprint, and unstoppable you. Yes. And she's beyond the boardroom. Dr. Vicky is the creator and executive producer of groundbreaking community project, Diary of Successful Black Single Mothers. So we are going to talk with her, pick her brain, get some insights, because in my opinion, she is she is a knowledge. She's a walking knowledge. She has so much wisdom. And I met her in Paris at a women's international conference. She was one of the keynote speakers, and the way she held the space, the way she communicated with everyone, she just touched my heart and she inspired me. So I want to talk to her and pick her brain so you all can experience her wisdom as well. So without further ado, Dr. Vicki Wright Hamilton, drum roll.
You are so sweet. I need to hire you and take you around everywhere I go to introduce me. What a beautiful introduction. Let me tell you, I'm very humbled, honored, and I feel very privileged to sit on your podcast amongst your audience. And as I say on every podcast I do, which is truly genuine for me, if there's just one nugget I can give someone to change their lives, to enhance, to make it better, to answer a question, then it's been all worth it. So thank you so much for the opportunity to allow me to serve.
You are very welcome. It's my pleasure, and I'm sure the listeners will get more than one nugget. So, how did you get started? What is your journey? Explain your journey until now. What made you start? I mean, you have 3 strategic pillars, and you are executive director of this community. So, go ahead.
So, I in the beginning of my career trajectory was all in corporate America, right? So I was executive leader in on the executive leadership. I was on boards. I was C-level, etc. When during the time years ago when they were going through the resize and upsize and re-engineering, downsize, and whatever you want to
Mm,
call it,
mm,
my particular department was merged with another group. And
mm.
so my position was eliminated. And from my perspective, I was a corporate woman. I was like, okay, it's eliminated. I'll go to the next job. What was during a time where they weren't hiring as much for that role, for those levels of roles, etc. But what I didn't know is God had a different plan. He
Mhm.
was like, it's time for you to also do some caregiving. Now, I was already caregiving for a brother-in-law that my husband and I had taken on like 6 months after we got married, that we were taking care of consistently. But then I ended up taking care of my brother, my mom, my dad, my cousin, through this time period. But I still had to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I fought being an entrepreneur for years.
Mm,
I was like, no, I'm just going to do a consulting project. And people were like, you got a business. No, 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 no. I'm just going to go help somebody. And
mm,
before I knew it, one thing was leading to another. And that's actually how BWH was born.
mm,
Okay. Out of necessity of being able to continue to take care of my family
mm,
after this career change. So when I got started, I'm a strategist at heart. And when I got started, I said, what's the low-hanging fruit that you do that that's very easy? Well, because I was a technologist by trade and
mm,
had done a lot of that, I said, well, from a strategy perspective, I can go in and work with other leaders from a technology in terms of building where they want to go and do. So I did a lot of acting CIO roles and things like that. And what I thought was going to be like 3 months ended up being 2 years. And then it was, another one for 2 years. And it just kept evolving. That's how that pillar began.
mm,
So it evolved even within that pillar. And this is what I think it's important for business owners to see. I started as executive in terms of the strategy and development of where they're going to go from a technology perspective because I had done it. But what I quickly learned is that the need right now was
mm-hmm,
really getting their employees to branch upon the technology initiatives that were going to change their lives. And that's when I started adopting helping the unseen be seen.
mm,
So I wanted to help all of these employees that were going to have to accept this change, go through adoption to be able to be heard, but I wanted to help the organizations and the technology and the companies to be successful. That
mm.
was the beginning of that pillar. I
So
thought that
that
was it. I
that
thought
was
that's
the
what I was
digital
going to be doing,
disruptor. That was the
right?
digital disruptor.
That was the digital disruptor. That's where I began. Okay.
Mm,
And it evolved into doing things like AI, um, RPA, rapid RPA, and doing automation and things like that, and augmented reality.
mm,
Well, what ended up happening is that I started running into leaders
mm-hmm,
that really wanted to be coached and developed.
mm,
They wanted their own self transformation through working with these organizations.
mm-hmm.
Well, that's how Unstoppable You was born, right? I was like, you know what? You're unstoppable. We can help you. We can go through this
Yes.
transformation together. And a lot of them were either looking for a transformation up the ladder or looking for a transformation, a different part of their career. Or this is how the third pillar was born. They wanted to transform to being their own business owner.
CEO blueprint.
CEO Blueprint. So
Mm,
CEO Blueprint was born because as I saw the need, I became a certified profit coach through
mm,
Pro Global Business Advisors. And when I did that, it allowed me to have a pipeline also to help businesses. And then I started helping other businesses. So that's how the three pillars began. It all began because when I saw a need, I knew I needed to pivot. I
yeah.
started opening up doors. But here's what I didn't recognize at the very beginning. It became very clear as I got started, though. What I didn't recognize at the very beginning was when we pivot within the world and our economy based upon what's around us,
Yes.
what we do is open up so many opportunities that when different conditions happen, we're prepared. So when the corporate companies start pulling back and they're not having as many consultants come in, then you can go to leaders and to business owners. When the economy gets so bad, leaders are like, I can't spend the money. I'm not sure I want to do this. And they're not willing to invest. The one thing you know is every business owner needs you all year long. They either need you because they're trying to figure out how do I survive in these conditions
Yes.
in the economy?
Yeah.
or they need you because I'm doing well and I want to continue to grow and to scale. Help me
Yes.
scale.
Yeah.
There's always an opportunity. So I knew that I could play the balance beam for whatever was needed based upon what was happening.
Oh my God. No wonder. No wonder I thought you were a born leader. Because, when we are flexible enough to adapt and change, that's where growth happens. When we are like fixed, this is all I can do, then that's that's not helpful. That,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
And then
scarcity mindset.
the thing is that then I began to think about, as we talk about services and
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing, we also need to have other streams of revenue to support those services,
Yes.
right? So I started thinking about as I'm working with these leaders of transformation under Unstoppable You, what was I hearing constant? There
Huh.
wasn't a day of going through and talking to every leader that we didn't talk about self-care,
Yep. Exactly.
right? We didn't
Exactly.
talk about how to take care of ourselves and make ourselves feel better. So I began to think about I get up in the morning and one day it struck me.
Mm-hmm.
You get up, you're getting ready to go to work, get going to the bathroom. What is the first thing you see when you get up in the morning?
Yourself in the mirror in when
Your
you're in the
face,
bathroom. Yeah.
right? My point was, if this doesn't feel good, how are you going to feel good to lead anybody to do anything through your day?
Yeah. It's
I
so
said,
true.
so what can I do to help people look in the mirror and feel
Mm-hmm.
better? So I created my own skincare line,
Look at
Victoria's
you.
Skin.
What is it called?
Victorious Skin.
Wow.
So I have my own skincare line.
Okay.
And so that we can get the foundation of our skin
Yeah.
feeling good so we can feel good on the inside,
So
right?
is when you said skincare line, it's just the foundation, or is it?
No, I have a cleanser. I have a cleanser. I have a mask. I have eye cream,
Yeah.
that goes underneath the eye, um, and to support the eye as well.
Yes.
And so it's all about the foundation, and then and I have the mask. So I have the mask, the cleanser, the eye, and moisturizer.
Moisturizer.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
So I have all of those things to be able to support the
Yes.
skincare, right?
Yeah.
And so then I said, well, that can help my unstoppable you.
Yeah.
What do I do for all the other people that are
Yeah.
out there with the
Mm-hmm.
struggles I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what one of the common thing was that I kept hearing
Mm-hmm.
was the ability to be strategic about making decisions. You know how you get faced with situations, and it's the situations that I call that are reading the tea leaves, the things that are never spoken, but
Yep.
they occur, they happen,
Yep.
and you have to learn from them and you have to grow from them. So I kept thinking about my own life and my own experiences.
Yeah.
And I started saying, what happened in my life that I wish somebody had told me an inkling about how to solve and what to do? So I started writing those things down.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I want to help people get this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
How can I do it in a creative way?
You wrote a
You
book?
know, huh?
You wrote a book?
No, I created my own board game.
Look at that.
I created my own board game. Decisions, your path, your growth. And
Wow.
it has a
What is
scenario.
what is the is the board game for adults, kids,
So,
or
it's interesting. When I was piloting this program, I
yeah,
started with some college kids
yeah,
in the universities.
yeah,
And I started thinking about them getting prepared to go to work.
yes,
They loved it. Okay. Then I went into companies, whether they are, and I call anything a company, a nonprofit, government,
yes,
private business, doesn't matter. They're all
yeah,
companies because they all operate as a business. So I started saying, well, where are they struggling the most? And they started saying, some of our early careers that are coming in, so that's the evolution from college,
yeah,
is good. Team building. We had
Yes.
people who bought it and teams were working together and they got different perspectives as they were doing it. And it grew into this huge thing of team building to make it happen. And then the leaders that they had that were their first time supervisor, first time manager, moving in from manager of managing people to leading people,
Yeah.
being a leader of leaders. So it started growing. And so I
Yeah.
was just like, you know what? This is for people who really want to learn, who want insights that can prosper. But
Yeah.
I will say that from the beginning of the career through management
Yeah.
and team building was probably the biggest um, win in
Yeah.
terms of the board game.
That is nice. So they they will form more cohesive teams so they can work together. Yeah, and learn from each other and grow. Wow. Um, so in your definition, in Vicky's definition, how do you currently define success? And has it changed from how you started off, as a person whose job was taken away, and then as a caregiver, and you creating, as a leader, you have created board games and offered it for the college students to the companies, and having created your own skincare. So how do you define success?
Um, I feel very, very passionate about
Mm,
defining success is inward. It's your own yardstick.
mm,
My success is not your success. Your success is not my success.
yeah,
We all define it individually. My success yardstick is, was I able to serve? Was I able to make a difference? Was I able to help someone? Because that's what God put me here to do.
yeah,
So as long as I'm doing his will
yeah,
and as long as I'm making a difference, as long as I'm able to help someone to grow, to learn, to expand, to reach their highest potential.
yeah.
That is my success. But
Beautiful.
your success is self-defined. Don't ever let anybody define your success for you. It's your yardstick, not
Yeah,
theirs.
yeah. Has it changed from the time you started until now, or has it stayed the same? Like, has it always been serving someone, helping someone, making a difference?
So, it's interesting you asked me that question because in full transparency, serving was just something I always did
Yeah.
as a person. So whether I was working for somebody, whether it didn't matter, I was always there
Hmm.
to help someone. That's just part of who I am as an individual. But I never sat down to find success.
Mm,
Okay. When I was working, it was like my deal was I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the very best job I can. I'm going to provide the best results I can for
hmm,
organizations, for people that I work with, and what I do. I never had a yardstick for success.
mm,
I didn't compare myself to anybody else. I didn't look at anybody else. It was like, did I go in and do my best job at work today?
yeah.
I never looked at that. I didn't begin to think about what success meant until I was as an entrepreneur and working with others. And others
Mm,
was like, well, my success. And I was like, success? Your
mm,
success is your own. Why are you
hmm,
caring about what someone else has or what they're doing? It doesn't matter. It's not you. That's not the journey. That's not your journey. You create your own journey.
hmm.
So I never really did. And when I started my own business, it was built on the same principles. I want to be a servant leader. I want to
Yeah,
help. I want to do God's will, and I want to provide, and I want people to share whatever wisdom and knowledge I have with anybody.
yeah. Make a difference in people's
Right.
life. Yeah.
Right.
Um, you, I almost forgot, but I know you are a Presidential Award recipient.
Yes.
Can you share, like, is that one of the achievements you're mostly proud of?
Okay. Now I'm gonna tell your audience this. Don't do as I do. You do as I say. Let's just start there. Okay.
Okay.
We all have our things to overcome.
Yeah,
I'm very good at making sure my clients acknowledge, they award, they do what they need to do
yeah,
in terms of celebration
yeah,
and being very open about their successes and things like that.
yeah.
But I'm being very transparent with your audience.
Thank you.
I never acknowledged.
Oh,
It was like I got it. Okay, thank you. And I kept moving. I didn't, it wasn't a celebratory thing that's like, oh, I gotta go
wow.
celebrate. Oh, I was too busy moving on to the next thing. And let me
Yeah.
tell you why that's not good. And I'm a work in progress. Okay.
Mhm. We are
I'm a
all.
work in progress. But the reason that's not good is because when you have your own yardstick and you're very proud of what you've done internally and what makes you happy, you need to celebrate that. However you celebrate that for yourself, you need to you need to be able to say, wow, look at this. Look at what's happened. Look at what I've done. I'm proud of me. I'm not good at saying I'm proud of me. I'm excellent at saying I'm proud of you. So I'm a work in progress to look more internally and acknowledge what I'm proud of within myself and what I've done. Um, if I had to say right now, my biggest accomplishments have nothing to do with what I've received. All of my biggest accomplishments is what I've been able to do to help others.
Mm,
So I have to, that's my success yardstick. It was never, I got to go get this, I got to go get that.
mhm,
That was just
mhm,
never me. I
mm,
was never a person that said, okay, I'm going to be a supervisor, a manager, a director, and whatever
mhm,
happened, happened. I didn't set a
mhm,
trajectory.
mm,
I just let whatever happen happen. I just happened to be in the right places where I was, able to get promoted, whether it was for the right reason or the wrong reason. And that's the other thing. I got promoted every 2 years of my life. Most people would say, wow, that's great. But sometimes my promotion was just to be a poster to say, we got a black woman, we got a woman, she is sitting in his chair. And all they wanted me to do was to be that poster child. That
mm,
didn't work for me because my mother and father didn't raise me just to occupy a chair. They raised me to do what I was hired to do. So, what they quickly found out was that we can say she's just a poster child, but she does make a difference in the business. And it became to that point to after a while, and it took many decades, but after a while, people started saying, you're the exception. And then I get angry because I'm like, I'm not the exception. You're just not looking hard enough. There's more women out here like this. There's more diversity out here. There's all different kinds of diversities and nationalities and all that can do this. It's not just me, but you got to be open. You got to want to see it. You got to want to embrace it and to understand it. So
you,
for
yeah,
me,
you also set the stage and precedence for others to, you were shining the light for others to see, and being that, you know, you are showing the path for them to follow and get there as well.
exactly. And to know
Mhm.
that the art of the possible is possible.
Yeah.
And that's why I would never tell people, don't give up. You got this and you can do this. It may take a little bit more effort, may take a little bit of time, but you got this. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not let this trajectory be a problem because it doesn't have to be. So for me, it was all about I like I said, I just wanted to make that difference and to do what I was hired to do and to help the companies and organizations to survive.
Mm. Um, Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for showing your vulnerable side. And yeah, we are all work in progress. So yeah, we all have something that we are working on always. And you shed some light on not to compare yourself. That is so important.
Mhm.
And celebrate and acknowledge first.
Mm-hmm.
right? And being aware and then acknowledge and celebrate, even if it is a small win.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Every step
Yes.
isn't
Yeah.
it right. An
That is so
acknowledgement of
important.
something that you've done and a success that you've made.
Yeah. Um, Now that you shared about that is one of the achievements and you are being so humble, what is one of the greatest challenge that you have overcome? And what did you gain by overcoming it?
Well, let me tell you, I think um, as I reflect and I think about all the things that happen in my life and where I
Mm,
am, my greatest challenge was being an African American woman in
mm,
technology in a male dominated environment
mm,
and understanding how to not just pull up a chair at the table, but how to actually get served the meal, the drink, and the dessert just like they do at the table. And so I had to learn, I had to fail. First attempt in learning, I had
yeah,
to fail on
yeah.
different areas all the time and get and learn from those failures in order
Mm,
to be able to make the changes that I needed to make to survive. Those were major, real challenges. I didn't have mentors.
mm,
I didn't know what a mentor was, okay?
mm,
But I knew how to observe.
yeah,
So I created my own internal mentor relationship by watching.
yeah.
And one of the things I used to always say is if this is going to be a white man's industry, the only way you're going to understand is to learn the white man's way. So I would observe, I would learn, I would understand. And so that I could put the pieces together. I could get to the why. Why is this
Mm,
happening? What does it mean? What are they really after? Is that behavior really real or are they after something else? So the
mm,
more you observe and you learn and you are willing to be open, allowed me the biggest growth I could ever have in
wow.
terms of moving forward. So those were huge challenges that were
Mm,
real. And so I learned the art of how to overcome. And that art, that's those secrets of the tea leaves and reading them. I'm like, I want to tell everybody. I want y'all to go through what I went through. So let me tell you, when they say this, they really mean this. When they
oh,
do this,
wow.
they really mean that,
Wow.
so that you can really help people understand
Yeah.
what's going on around them. It's kind of like they used to say, you can play the game if you know the rules. If you don't know the rules, it's hard to play the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of these games are unspoken rules. So who's going to tell you the
Wow.
unspoken rule so you can move forward? I wanted to be that vessel as much as I could. Let me
Wow.
share the unspoken rules because you deserve to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you. And your passion, your caring nature all comes out. You are being the voice for so many women, right? Women of color. And I see you, I hear you, and I acknowledge you. And I'm so, so grateful for the all the work you have done.
Thank you.
I see you, and I want you to know that I see you and I hear you and I acknowledge you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it makes me feel good that, when you asked me to do this, I was like, why me? And then I said, no, Vicky, it's not why you. It's what knowledge can you share that's
Yes.
going to help somebody. When I met you in Paris, I was admired by you. And it was like, wow, this is awesome, And so having the opportunity to share with your audience, that's my blessing. It's a privilege for me. I don't expect those things, right? I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and humbly eternally um feeling like, wow, somebody hears me is my
Yeah.
blessing because then that lets me know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So thank you
Well,
for that.
you are very welcome. And I know you've gone through lots of challenges, and it's not easy. You know, a woman from another country coming here and, putting the roots, and I understand and I see and I hear you and I feel you. And so all the work you have done for other women, any women of color, they appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
And I'm representing, them and telling
Thank
you,
you.
yes,
Thank you. Well,
yes.
you know, it's so interesting because I'm an Air Force brat and I spent a lot of
Mm,
time out of the country. You know, a lot of time in the Philippines, Hong Kong, Japan,
mhm.
Okinawa, went to India, those kinds of things. And so my my color is not what everybody else sees. Although when civil rights started, it was the black and the white. That's all you saw,
Yeah,
right? And that was the era of which I
yeah,
grew up in. But being in the military, being a military brat, growing through that, my lens of black, white always began to look like it's white and everybody else.
yes,
Okay, is white and everybody else, right? And so as I began to understand and go through that process, my parents were very involved in the civil rights movement. My mother started the Albany movement in Albany, Georgia. She worked with Martin Luther King. They went to school together. I grew up in those eras
yeah,
and going through that challenge. And I will tell you that my experiences were there were white people out there fighting with us just like anybody else.
yeah,
It was not at all and no help. There were some people who said, "No, I'm not standing with you. I am going to stand for what's right." So the
correct.
foundation of everything I have, everything my parents taught me was that people are all individuals and individuals have to decide what they want to do and serve. And what you have to decide is how to survive. So I learned, even though it was a white male industry and I knew I had to learn, I knew the more I learned and did, the more I could pull everybody else up. And that's what I spent my
Yes.
life doing.
And that's
Mm.
kind of you, because not only did you learn, but you were willing to share what you have learned.
Yeah.
Not many people have that attitude. Like, okay, yes, I survived, I'm moving on, but you choosing to share your knowledge through your board game, through your skincare, to uplift women. And not that men don't need the skincare, but it's those little ways that you're showing, hey, you matter, right? Because the first thing we see when we get up, like, messy hair, whatever, no makeup, I still love you. Looking at the mirror and saying, I still love you. Look at, whether you have gray hair, whether you have wrinkles, I accept you for who you are. And you have gone through so much to be here. Just the fact that you're breathing and you're able to, now that you're in the bathroom, you're going to use the restroom, right? So that itself says that your functions, the body functions are working. So that's a
Yes.
gift.
Yes.
Instead of saying, oh yeah, there is a wrinkle there, oh yeah, that this, we can nitpick.
Yeah.
Even if the mirror is completely clear, clean, impeccable, but there is a little bit of a dot there. Instead of looking at that little bit of a dot, let's look at everything that is clear and functioning. That individual who's standing there in front of the mirror, if we can put a smile rather than waiting for the reflection to smile back, that cannot happen unless
Right.
we change it from inside and
That's
smile,
right.
right? And appreciate that, yes, the body functions are working. And now that we are in the bathroom, and acknowledging the journey we have taken, and it's like, what other woman can I uplift? Can I help? Can I make a difference?
Hmm.
So thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
Being a digital disruptor, creating the CEO blueprint and creating and telling women and men it's you are unstoppable,
That's right.
right? So
That's right.
what inspires you, Vicky? What inspires you? What words do you live by?
Well, um, my, to be honest with you, my faith
Mm-hmm.
is my foundation. My desire to do his will is what I'm about.
Mm.
Um, because here's what I know. We have a born date, we have a date we're leaving, but that
Mm-hmm.
dash is our why.
Whew. Whew.
That dash is our why.
Wow, that's powerful.
And you have to decide what you want to do to live that why. And I want to make sure that every second is a value to my why. Now, did I start that way? No. But am I learning more and more every day? How time is, how life is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Time is so short. Every second, I want to live my why. So it's one of those things that has really helped me to say, if you want me to do something and it doesn't support my why, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing it.
You have
I
your
need to do
values.
the things that support my
Mm-hmm.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. Following your values and following your why, your internal compass. That's your why. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Between the born date and the leaving date, the dash is my why. Wow.
Right. Yep.
That's valuable one nugget among the other nuggets you shared. Wow. Okay. Now that you said that, do you have any regrets, Vicky?
I don't live by regrets because for me, no matter what happened in my life, good, bad, or ugly, it was a lesson for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if it didn't happen, it wouldn't have shaped who I am today. So I don't live in regrets. I don't look at regrets. I look at learnings. I look at what
Yes.
occurred and what's the learning from it.
Yeah.
I don't look at regrets.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Um, if you can give, I know you gave so many information, but if you can give one business advice to that CEO who is listening or who is wanting to be a CEO and they are like, what do I do? Where do I start? Or who is already a CEO or who has a team of, you know, who has a team.
Mhm.
What is the one business advice that you would give? That's your favorite.
Well, I think, from my perspective, every CEO as a leader must identify and live by their personal values of the culture that they want to create within their organization. Actions speak louder than words. If you say you're going to do it, do it. I believe that the CEO who lives by his his or her values that are stated and the culture that they want to live by
Mm,
and shows it in their behaviors is the CEO that's going to gain the most trust,
yeah,
the most respect, and the most desire for people to want to stay and follow,
yeah.
even when times get hard.
Integrity.
Right? Even when times get hard,
Yeah.
because people are willing to give in more when times get hard, when you know that the best interest that you have, they know the best interest that you have is for them, not just the business. Yes, we're all in business to make money, but
Yeah.
people do the work, not the money itself. We got to have individuals that are doing something, that are buying something, that are making something happen. And, even though AI is coming out, one thing about it is AI can't read a room. AI can't read, dynamics that are happening. So we're going to have people. So the point is that I believe that the more we are honest,
Yeah.
truthful, the more that we are communicative about that and living our values and our behavior showing it, the more you're going to be successful. You don't have to worry about the money. It's going to happen. And you don't have to worry about the people because they were like, they could get paid $10,000 more going somewhere else. Say, nope, I love my leader. I'm not going anywhere. We're growing together. We're doing this together. The challenge is we've gotten away from that in so many different ways, so that the attitude of a lot of people is there's no loyalty. Give me
Mm-hmm.
something better, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's always another opportunity. You're not the only one. I'm not here for you or the business. I'm here to do a job. And when the next job happens, I'm ready to go.
Mm.
And the thing is that it's more about business than it is the people. That is more of the majority of what's out there in our universe today. But it's going to take CEOs to change that
Yep.
if we ever want to get back to the loyalty, the longevity, etc. I mean, think about it. My
Yeah.
parents, they would, well, not my parents because we moved around a lot, but the later earlier generations stayed with companies 30, 40, 50 years. How many people coming up now stay with somebody 30, 40, 50? You good if you get 5 to 6 years, right?
Yep.
And as the younger generations are coming about, they don't look at it bad as if you change a job every couple of years. And my generation, when you were coming in to get a job, you better not change every frequency. Then they were thinking something was wrong with you, right? So I think times are evolving.
Yep.
But I don't believe that that means that a CEO should not live those values of the culture they want to create, be cognizant of that culture, but of the culture that they want to create, and let their behaviors represent that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Um, Vicky, if you can create one law that is going to benefit everybody or principle, it's
Mhm.
it's your turn to create this law or principle that is going to benefit everybody. What would that be?
Now that's an interesting question. Only one?
Yes, just one to
Just
start with. I know
one.
you can provide a lot.
So no, no, but when you think about, I think the thing that when I think about the world that we're living in today and where we are and all the change and all of that, is that in my perspective, we're not even living by principles that we have,
Yeah.
Constitution and all the rest of it. So,
Mm.
it's one thing to have a law, it's another thing to have everything followed. But if I
Mm-hmm.
could create a law today that everybody in the world could benefit off of, it would be that we're here to serve each other. And there's enough room for everybody to
Yes.
excel. Everybody. There is a piece of pie for everybody to eat, and none of
Yeah.
us will starve.
Yeah.
So if we could just support one another, come together, partner more, help each other more, and stop. It's just I, it's just me, only we, only a certain criteria can make it. We have a much better place, a much better world.
Thank you. Yeah, well said. Amen to that. Um, so one last question. What is your doctorate in?
And business.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Any
in business.
other question that I missed that you want to address?
No, but I do have something for you that I would love to hear more about because You are such a phenomenal leader yourself.
Thank you.
And it is through the things that you are doing that's making a difference. So, what is it that drives you?
What is it that drives me? Wow. Okay. What is it that drives me is I am given a life, second chance to live after 27 days in the burn unit with third degree burns to 45% of my body. Just like you said, then I feel like there is a bigger reason why God, universe, love, nature, whatever you want to call it, that higher power. I felt like, the mindset I was in, I wanted to end my life because, I was in a dark space and and I was abused, and I was in that relationship, I was married, and so anyway, even though I was in that space and, being in the burn unit for 27 days, since I was given an opportunity, second chance to live, and I was like, there is a bigger reason why God, universe, kept me alive, right? So, what is that reason? And I am fulfilling in my own way every day, like you said, and I look at the mirror and it was hard. So when you said look in the mirror and acknowledge, when I said for the first time, when I looked in the mirror and said, Aruna, I love you, I started crying.
Yep.
And so I'm like, you know what, there is a reason why God kept me alive. If I am making a difference in somebody's life with the actions I'm taking, I'm proud of myself.
Mhm.
One day is not the same as the other, so
Yeah,
that's what drives me.
that's awesome.
It's kind of similar from what you said, but yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we have more in common than you think
Yes, ma'am.
because I'm living my second life.
Wow.
So when I gave birth to my oldest son, I died on the table for 3 minutes,
Oof.
and I actually went to the pearly gates. And I saw God on the horse and went up and asked him, could I come in? And he said, no, it's not your time yet. He said, your job is to go back on earth and help everybody who gets overlooked, who doesn't have opportunities. You take care of them, I'll take care of you.
Mm.
And when I woke up, my mother was crying all over me. She was like, oh my God, you mad? I said, Mama, why are you crying? He said, I can't come home yet. She was like, what are you talking about? I said, he said, I can't come home yet. Dry the tears up. I got work to do. We ain't finished yet. And then I finally told her the story and she just cried. So when my son has his birthday, we always say happy birthday to each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm really
Well,
37 years old.
that's okay. That's okay. I know your birthday is coming up, so I am going to celebrate along with my Align with Your Dharma listeners. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vicky. Happy birthday to you, and many more.
Thank you.
On that note, I'm going to say thank you for your beautiful presence and your beautiful leadership and powerful leadership. I just made that word up.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the wisdom you shared. It's a great way to start the day. So whenever the listeners are listening to this, whether they are jogging, whether they are working and listening to this or whatever they are doing, it's going to empower their life in so many ways. And because you shared so much wisdom, I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. And if there's ever anything that I can do to serve you, please don't let me know. But I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Vicky.